Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Arun Singh Thakur from University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Today, we are going to talk on module Control and Assessing Performance in Small Scale Enterprises under the paper Tourism and Hospitality Entrepreneurship and Legal Environment. Present module aims at understanding the importance, performance assessment, and techniques for control of small scale enterprises. After going through this module, you will be able to describe the need for performance assessment, control for a small scale enterprises, discuss the measures of total performance assessment, explain the significance of short-term and long-term measures of performance, and describe and apply the cost and asset performance measures. Here we go. The intricacy and dynamism in the present business scenario needs continuous assessment and effective control on the variables which can pave the way to success. In 21st century, there is exponential growth in the business related to small scale enterprises. Due to the competition and pressure created by big players in the national and international market, these small scale enterprises are finding it difficult to survive. Considering the importance of small industries for the economic contribution to the GDP of the countries and providing employment opportunities to a large number of populations, governments are keen to ensure their sustainability and survival. As the failure of these small scale industries end up the government in a situation where on the one hand they bear the blame for the industry for their policies, and on the other the unrest due to the unemployment may be on the rise. So it is a win-win situation for the government, even for the people and industry, due to growing market of small scale industries. Government of India has been also instrumental in ensuring the viability of these small scale industries through its efforts from time to time. In India, we have separate ministry named as Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises for taking care of all the needs of these small scale industries. Despite running many exclusive programs for the benefit of small business enterprises, government has also made provisions in various spheres for subsidy to these ventures. Though the system is in practice, but there is the need of a paradigm shift where provision of financial credit to small enterprises may be made easy in banks with little documents at fast pace. What is called as small scale business? The small scale businesses are considered as an important constituent in the economic growth and an integral component in the process to bring nations out of poverty. Small scale enterprises are one of the key driving factors for economic development, employment creation and poverty alleviation in the developing nations. They are means by which economic growth can be accelerated and targets of swift industrialization can be achieved. Further, small enterprises, businesses have been recognized as an essential base to large-scale industries. The importance and contributions of small-scale businesses in the development of country is largely recognized by entrepreneurs in this sector face many obstacles that hinder their long-term survival and development. Researchers have identified that opening a new business is a risky affair and at least initial 5 years are very crucial for the future success and stability of business. Some scholars conducted researches for small scale enterprises also reveals that the failure rate of such entrepreneurs is higher in developing countries as compared to developed nations. For classification of small scale industries, there is not well set method adopted worldwide. International Labour Organization in 2005 in its study concluded that about 50 definitions which were identified in 75 different countries of the world. However, it became evident from the literature review that the basic criteria of defining small enterprises is the quantity measure which was taken as base, such as how much number of human resources employed by the organization, financial and capital structure, the annual gross sales or turnover, and the asset value of the company, or a combination of these measures. The small scale industries sector is considered as an important contributor for economic development and a crucial element in the effort to lift countries out of poverty. The dynamic role of small and medium enterprises in developing countries as engines through which the growth objectives of the developing countries can be achieved has long been recognized. It is estimated that small scale enterprises employ 22% of adult population in developing countries. Further, we'll describe the small scale enterprises and their own responsibility for control. The first is the formative evaluation. The concept of formative evaluation can be defined as what is the targeted added value from the intervention and why it is needed. The process of identifying beneficiaries, if necessary, segmented in groups. How the needs of beneficiaries, that is organizations and individuals, are analyzed and grouped meaningfully. Products and services are embedded in the programs designed to meet needs, covering the process of designing objectives of organization, to determine the content details of business, material and product designing, process of human resources department such as recruitment, selection, induction, orientation, etc. Then methodology for delivery of products or services and site for availability. Then competency level of the individuals involved at various levels within the organization. Then scheduling of programs and time for the activities, and lastly internal as well as external assessment and certification. Availability of the products and services in the market specifically involves the process of price setting if necessary, the choice of marketing mix, the channels used for reaching beneficiaries, managing public relations, defining the process of selling to public, and plan to achieve success in the operations. Managing process of business operations specifically involves the effectiveness of decisions in order to manage budget and financial modeling, ensuring placement of controlling system, management of motivation and leadership among the employees, suitability of organizational structure and employees' competency, ensuring efficiency in gathering resources, effectiveness in empaneling suitable investors and vendors, planning and flexibility for strategic planning, and then finally, how effective and foolproof is the planning. The next controlling technique is the cumulative assessment. Cumulative assessment procedures must be taken by enterprise on various levels to know the impacts, like how many people like the service, how many people like comfortable with providers of services, how many people like the facilities and location, how much the customers are satisfied with the benefits fully or less, how many people find it easy to take part and contribute. Overall, the success of the policy and evaluation of the same would depend upon how it well taken by the employees, understood by the beneficiaries, and what is the opinion of the public at large. Control cash, debtors, and inventory in business. Karen Fraser, in her article 2015, says that once business is up and running, one must control it, much of like navigating a ship. A ship has a destination and business has goals. To reach its destination, a ship has navigational aids to measure the progress and prevent it going off course. The vision of the business lies in its planning document. Planning document of the company includes setting up of the objectives and methodology to achieve the set targets. Business processes control share a close relationship with the planning process also. The basic purpose of controlling in operations of the business is to know the deviations and take corrective measures to rectify to reach close to the success. Controlling finances are very crucial, but on the same time, controlling other aspects in business are necessary for success. For effective business controlling, one needs to. They must have authentic information system regarding business operations. They need to be skillful to use collected information efficiently, foresee the problem well before to become deep trouble and resolve them also. Following are the areas which are considered as gray areas to focus, and they are very vulnerable, especially in case of small scale enterprises. First one is controlling cash, then controlling debtors, controlling inventory and internal controlling. Now we'll try to describe these. Controlling cash. Without finances, no business can sustain, and thus controlling cash is key area to focus. It is also related to almost all the areas in the organization. Financial position may be affected by decreasing the volume of sales and thus falling revenue. Slow process of recovery of debited sums from the borrowers. Unplanned but necessary purchase of equipments, technology or software whose budgetary provisions were not made in the budget. Then unprecedented increase in the prices of raw materials, supplies, salaries, demand and wages. Then operating cost may go up in due course of time. The figure of credit during sales is much higher than the cash figures as compared to expected ones. The cash in hands provided by the budget can be considered an edge for planning process. However, it cannot be used as controlling tool. On the same time, it can be utilized as a tool to fix up the financial important points. Following techniques can be used by the organizations in case they want to improve their financial positions. Promoting sales in cash, maintaining a system to identify the customers who are long pending due and designing recovery system from such customers. For example, telephone or prompt emails can be used. Then introduce some reward points for progressing payments and advance payments. Also, one can introduce some cash benefits to customers who pay through online gateways. Then seasonal sales target must be set with some offers so that to generate more and more revenues through increased sales. Then deals must be assessed in terms of true benefits. Casual, trained staff must be recruited in order to refrain from the liability of a permanent staff. Equipments and machines must be hired rather than purchasing if possible. Payment must be paid in short intervals rather than paying annually. Surplus cash must be invested in order to get returns rather than putting it idle. The second one is controlling debtors. To know how to recover own money from the market is the necessary skill with the entrepreneur. There must be policy in practice for extending credits in the market, as more credit may increase sales volume but hamper financial status of the organization. Here is the checklist for accounts of debtors who need special attention.
Customers who pay partial amount in a month, then those customers always make delayed payments. Then the type of customers who request to round off their payments every month, and the customers who make purchase beyond their routine levels. Also the customers who hesitate to sign checks for the due payments, and finally the customers who feel bad when asked about the payments.
Controlling inventory. Inventory is one thing which can cost you more. So, here are certain tactics to manage inventory. First one is excess inventory may be offered for hire or purchase in order to generate more revenue. Cost of the stores and stacking goods needs management. Human resource must be trained properly to maintain required inventory. Insurance of the goods and human resource can cost you more and need a homework while purchasing inventory for the same. Degradation and deterioration of the stocks in the warehouse need to minimize. Apply 80-20 rule. That is, 20% of the inventory is likely to generate 80% of the sales, and 80% of the sales are likely to come from 20% of the customers. Orders must be placed for the required inventory, and check on that can be maintained through proper documentation of inventory. Inventory must be monitored properly with the system in place so as to protect it from unnecessary degradation.
The diagram explains briefly the techniques for inventory control by optimizing reordering and production, breaking down inventory, tracking safety stock and distressed inventory, add to sales and operating planning, determining most productive inventory, and reacting to the market changes in the modernization. Further, we would like to discuss few points which an entrepreneur can perform his own level for inventory control. He should be clear in words and deeds and learn to say no. If you don't require anything, don't go for its purchase. Audit of the equipments and stocks must be made regularly by your own self. Work out in deciding minimum required levels of equipments and stocks for running business. Make contract with suppliers who are really trustworthy. Orders for the stock must be made by considering the demand only. It should not exceed the demand anyways. Purchase for the products and raw materials can be made during the off seasons. The track of slow moving stock need a timely push. Consider understanding seasonality factor, quality of the product and competition as well. And most importantly, try to understand the needs of the customers while designing the products and services. By following certain tactics, young entrepreneurs of small business enterprises can control their inventory in a smarter way.
Internal controlling. Many a times, external factors are not in the hands of entrepreneur, but internal controlling is something which can give you better results in your business. How to distribute duties where there is less human resource available and more of jobs are there. Entrepreneur himself can step in to become a watchman or a manager or maybe an auditor as the situation demands.
Here are few tactics which can be implemented for internal controlling. External communication must be monitored minutely. The mailbox and telephone calls regarding receipts needs personal attention. The financial control, like making payments through checks or online, must be made by the entrepreneur himself. The approval of the payments must be made personally. The bank statements need random checking. The chronic debtors need to send continuous notices and follow-ups. One must be personally involved in writing off debts and offering discounts. There must be clear knowledge about the fixed assets of the organization. Physical inspection of entire stock and otherwise should be there on routine basis. Trustworthy auditor or chartered accountant may be empaneled for auditing purpose. To proceed further, we'll discuss certain other controls which are relevant. There are certain more things which can be placed into practice for effective controlling in the business and maintaining good standards for achieving goals. They are as under. Absenteeism among employees needs a serious check. Performance of employees in terms of turnover needs continuous evaluation. Performance of the sales team needs persistent monitoring. Innovativeness in developing new products, ensuring the safety of customers as well as the organization people, productivity of the employees, status of the public relations of the firm, monitoring the share of the organization in the market, assessment of the quality of the product, recruitment and firing must be done personally, and then scheduling the holidays of the employees. These are certain techniques which an entrepreneur can employ for the internal controlling of the business. Now we'll discuss the governmental responsibilities for control of small scale enterprises. Government of any country is fairly responsible for the development of small scale enterprises. There must be a system in place for the continuous review and focus upon fixing up the responsibility in specific areas for coordination in different departments of the government. For example,
the close coordination is required between the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises and Ministry of Tourism, because the budding entrepreneurs in tourism and hospitality industry need to be made aware about the benefits and the schemes run by the ministry for the benefit of the tourism industry. There should be a proper communication to the shareholders, stakeholders regarding the changes in the regulations, tax structures and other related things, because the resources of entrepreneur are very limited and do not have access to these policy matters. Small scale enterprises must be made aware about the licensing procedures through certain organizations in collaboration with the government. The needs and requirements of the local bodies, including the population, must be considered by the government, and entrepreneurs need to be educated about those needs. The effective hands-on training about the techniques and the latest technology may be provided to these budding entrepreneurs.
various reasons to measure activities in any organization. It gives history to compare, measurements enable to recognize superior work, performance measures inform about problems in time to fix them, tracking results is fun and exciting for teams, keeping score provides feedback on how employees are doing, then achieving goals gives everyone something to celebrate, and lastly, consistently meeting quality standards means happier customers. Now we'll discuss various goals and performance measures. Percentage of new customers to average number of customers, percentage of lost customers to average number of customers, percentage of win back customers to average number of customers, then percentage of customers falling into very dissatisfied, neutral, satisfied and very satisfied category. Then to calculate the percentage of customers who say they would repurchase from the firm, percentage of the customers who say they would recommend the firms to other, and percentage of the customers who say that the company's products are most preferred in its category. Also, percentage of customers who correctly identify the company's intended positioning and differentiations, average perception of company's product quality relative to chief competitor, and lastly, average perception of company's service quality relative to chief competitor are the certain goals and performance measures which can give you an advantage of introspecting. The concept of small business performance. Izzioni emphasized that performance has been the subject of extensive and increasing empirical and conceptual investigation in the small business literature. It is generally agreed that performance should be viewed in relation to one or more goals. The issues that remain unresolved are the goals against which performance should be assessed and from whose perspective the goals should be established. Organizational theories and accounting literature driven by classical economic theory emphasize profit maximization as the central goal of the firm. These arguments, modeled on large enterprises, generalize the concept of performance and fail to take account of differences in goals between firms of varying sizes. The separation of ownership and control from management in large firms and the agency relationship gives rise to profit maximization as a performance goal measured by indicators such as return on assets and return on investment. The situation in different small businesses where ownership and control as well as management of the firm are usually vested in one key person who is owner or manager. The owner manager does not only indicate the goals of firm but also exerts a powerful influence on the way firm pursues these goals. Consequently, researchers have challenged the application of conventional goal of profit maximization to the assessment of performance in small firms, advocating instead non-financial goals that portray the big picture of the small firms. The major goals of the small firms must be understood before its performance can be assessed.
Now further, we'll discuss the methods of assessing performance in small-scale enterprises. According to Neale et al. In 2002, they suggested performance assessment area is balanced and dynamic system, which gives a holistic view that uses different measures and perspectives. The various measures and perspectives are tied together and continuously monitor the internal as well as external context of the organization. Despite the extensive research that has been carried out to investigate the need and characteristics performance assessment in large organization, there is a scarcity of published research related to small scale enterprises. Basically, performance assessment models and frameworks are designed to support assessment measures their performance, analyzing and improving their performance through better decision making. Particularly, it is important to remark on the evolution of focus on performance from a financial perspective to a non-financial perspective. Grengo et al. Summarized its performance assessment models as below.
Here we'll just pen down the various models. The first one is the performance measurement matrix. The other is performance pyramid system. Third is performance measurement system for service industries. Then fourth one is balanced scorecard, integrated performance measurement system. Sixth one is performance prism. Seventh is organizational performance measurement. And lastly, eighth one is integrated performance measurement for the small firms. Now, dear students, we'll discuss the factors influencing performance measurement in small scale industries or enterprises. Distinct factors influencing performance measurement in small scale enterprises are: small scale enterprises either does not use any performance assessment or they use incorrectly. Then performance measurement implementation in small scale industries rarely has holistic approach. Then small scale industries approach to performance measurement is informal, not planned and not based on a predefined model. Small scale industries have limited resources for data analysis, personalized management with little devolution of authority, Then resource limitation in terms of management and manpower, research and development, finance, marketing, etc. Reliance on small number of customers and operating in limited markets, flat and flexible structures, high innovatory potential, reactive and firefighting mentality, informal and dynamic strategies, tactic knowledge and little attention given to formalization of processes, misconception of the performance measurement. All these factors underline the differences between small scale enterprises and large organizations and the need of a different approach to performance assessment system in small scale enterprises.
So, students, let us summarize what we have learned in this module. From the discussion above in the present module perspective, we can therefore make a safe conclusion that from policy perspective, in the long run, effective policies and programs to support the development of small scale enterprises depend critically on adequate knowledge of characteristics and constraints of small scale business operators. Thank you.